What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Burnout Brighter podcast, episode 38. My name's Matt. I'll be your host for this evening's festivities. I'm joined by my co-host, as always, Mr. Darren.
I am in perfect harmony with the inside of myself.
And the real OG, Destiny.
What up?
If you're new to the podcast, we are a video games, mental health, and all kinds of other stuff podcast where we talk about things that are important to us, important to our mental health, and just important to society. Because we're all about society, guys.
We're so about society.
We're so about society.
On this, reforming society by force.
Yeah, changing people's hearts. If you're new to the podcast, thanks for checking us out. You can find us on any major podcast directory, including Spotify, Apple, Google, and all the mother shits. So
Not SoundCloud, though.
Not SoundCloud anymore. We're having a bit of a
So
scuffle.
don't look for us there.
Yeah, don't look for us on SoundCloud no more.
Look for us literally everywhere else.
Yeah. Podbean is the place to be if you want to check us out just online. And please check out our new Let's Play series called B.O.B. Games. We have one from last week that was all about Broforce. The new one from this week will be all about Watom. Well, I mean, it's actually already going to be out by the time this podcast goes up. So Watom's up.
Time travel?
If you want to see me and Darren... if you want to see Darren be happy and me be miserable for about 40 minutes playing Watom...
It was opposite day. So I thought I should be happy for once.
You know what's really funny too is that we had I was in all black, very dour, very very sad looking, and I even noticed my eye looks kind of fucked up. I think after the surgery, and you were in white and all bright and bubbly, and I was just this shit's wrong.
It feels wrong to me.
This shit's all kind of wrong.
Parallel universes.
Yeah, I went back to high school emo Matt.
You were emo in high school?
I was a scene kid.
Oh.
I was a scene kid. I wasn't
What does
emo.
that really mean?
It's like a happy emo.
Oh.
Emo in visual only.
Well, kind of. Emo with more color.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I was not any of those things.
I was
a cheerleader.
Hey.
There you go. I was a scene kid.
You know when I tell people that now, they're like, really? Fuck y'all.
Hey, you're peppy as fuck when you want to be.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You just gave up all your cheer a long time ago.
Moved up to the mountains, started hating Christmas.
Fucking Grinch.
On this week's episode, we're going to be talking all about video games being used as therapy. And in terms of news, we're going to talk about Xbox Series X's announcements from the Inside Xbox event, Animal Crossing selling like fucking crazy, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and Marvel's Iron Man VR getting some announcement dates.
Announcement plus dates.
Announcements and dates. Good one, Darren. That was actually a nice save. We're going to start this podcast, as we always do, with a round of random questions. And because Destiny wasn't here last week, I'm going to start with Darren.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to start with Destiny.
My expectations were subverted.
Swear, yeah.
You weren't looking for that plot twist.
Game of Thrones Season 8 up in this bitch.
Oh.
Okay, Destiny. If you had to take a video game character, right? Let's say you pick any video game character. You pick him up. You imagine you're in a kitchen. Okay, I'm gonna set this up for you. I'm gonna paint the scene.
Okay.
And you're like, I'm feeling a little parched. I'm feeling like I want a little bit of a drink. Maybe you had a hard day at the office.
Right.
Maybe some kid looked at you wrong.
Okay.
Or maybe I said something extra dumb that day. I got hit for it, and then you're like, I gotta go home and have a drink.
Right.
So let's say you open up your cabinet, and in your cabinet you just have a bunch of video game characters, and they're all looking at you.
Okay.
Which one would you pick to blend, and what alcohol would you mix them with to make the best cocktail? What video game character would make the best cocktail? Not them prepare it, them be it.
I zoned out halfway through this question.
It's such a strange question.
I had to take a walk to get there. I wanted to set the scene. So you're standing in your $5 million house.
Yeah.
You have all these video game characters in your cupboard. You're like, I need some video game margarita mix.
Okay.
Who are you tossing in there to blend up into some goodness?
Princess Peach.
Oh, shit.
Because of the name Peach?
Because of the name Peach, and she probably tastes like that.
She's also from the Mushroom Kingdom, so maybe there's some psychedelic effects in there.
Yeah.
Because
Mix her with a little vodka.
Because you know how some absinthe is supposed to make you hallucinate a little bit if you get too fucked up on it?
Right. I was trying to think of food that was in games, but I couldn't think of any. I'm sure there are some, but
I'm sure there are food in video games too.
I meant food characters.
I know.
Like Toadstool, but I was like, that's gross. Who wants a mushroom martini?
Not me.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
All right, well, good job, D. That was actually a very. I keep forgetting how quick you are on your feet, and not for any reason, but especially after you're like a drink in, it like accelerates.
So if you want some time, I could ask you a question first and change up the formula.
Sure.
Give you more time to think of a question for me.
That's why, Destiny, you're gonna ask Darren this week. Let's just do that.
Okay.
We haven't done a round
circle.
We haven't done
shit.
triangle, Darren. Remember, we're the triangle.
Sorry, the Ouroboros of questioning.
The triangle.
The trifecta.
So we haven't done a round table set of questions in a long time.
So
you're gonna ask me.
Okay, I'll be the other side of this triangle. Matt,
hit me.
I know famously you do not normally really enjoy survival horror games.
Right.
What survival horror game world do you think you have the best chance to survive in if you were put into it?
That's a good game. Good question.
So it has to be a survival horror game, obviously, right?
Or the world of a survival horror game.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It has to be based on a game. It's not like a movie. Okay.
Yeah.
What if it's a movie based on a game? I mean, a game based on a movie.
You know what? I don't want to let it, but I think I will let it.
I don't have an answer prepared for this, by the way. Like, that question is by time.
Sure. You can have it.
If I had to try and survive okay, can I ask some questions?
Sure.
Because Darren, you're like the horror game aficionado.
Okay.
So I didn't play enough of Resident Evil 7 to remember, but was there supernatural elements involved in those people? Or were they just people?
One of them has supernatural elements. They all have some powers. Let's put it that way.
Fuck. I'm gonna try and find a game that doesn't have powers that I actually stand a chance at fucking living at.
Well,
okay, so that one falls away. What about? I'm trying to think of more survival horror games.
There's a lot of them.
Is Don't Starve a survival horror game?
It's a survival game.
No, there's horror in it.
Okay.
Because if you don't have light at night, your nightmares will come to life and kill you.
All right, I picked Don't Starve.
Why?
Because I have all day to prepare, and then all I have to do is not fuck up at night.
True, just build a campfire.
That's what I mean. I'm just gonna prepare. I've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing. I know how to get ready now. I know how to gather resources. I know how to craft. I just hit shit on a bench and things will appear.
Good answer then.
So I would go with Don't Starve because I feel like I can actually survive.
I like it.
Yeah, yay me.
That was a good one. I'm glad I could help. All right. All right, so Darren, the whole time you were talking, I was trying to think of a question, and the only question I thought of was like really stupid, but I'm just going to ask it. Let's say we get married, right? Mm-hmm. What would be the perfect game theme to use for our wedding? And it has to be something I like.
Game theme. So you mean like a specific game?
Day.
Like a specific game, or like just the vibes from a game, or like...
I don't know, Darren, surprise me.
Damn, that's a good question, D.
Thank you!
I feel like my answer is going to be a little bit of like a cop-out, though.
Kingdom Hearts.
I don't like Kingdom Hearts
No.
that.
I think it would be kind of fun. I actually think this wouldn't be a terrible idea.
There's nothing.
I know.
Depending on like how you feel, but I think like a monster prom themed wedding could be kind of fun.
I hate that game. It took me forever to get what's his face.
Well, this is what you're getting.
And then it's just a prom.
Yeah, but with monsters. And it's kind of like a prom themed wedding.
Love me.
This is why I'm not a wedding planner.
Yeah.
But
You did that because it was the easiest one, and people are already in like fucking fashionable attire for a fucking wedding. All right, I accept it.
what did you really expect from me with that answer?
I thought you were going to be really creative because sometimes you surprise us.
That's true. That's true. Sometimes. Today's not one of those days.
I don't even know what I'd pick. I would pick a Streets of Rage themed wedding where like on your way in you'd have to beat the shit out of people to get to the altar. So when you get to the altar you're relaxed.
What if like we did like a Streets of Rage, but I can't talk.
Streets of Wage
wedding, and we had pinatas of bad guys. So you just beat the shit out of the pinatas of bad guys.
And the pinatas can have pictures of people you don't like on them.
Oh my god.
Ooh. Okay, Matt's planning our wedding.
Yes,
there we go.
That sounds good.
All right, I got this shit on lock. I'll just do it for a cheap $5 million.
No, you're doing it just to come.
That'll be my wedding present. All right. Well, that's a good round of random questions, guys. It's been a little while since we've all done some questioning.
It has.
But I'm glad we did it.
Me too.
So, I know it is a little toasty in here. Darren, I asked you first before. Destiny, let's go to you first. What's new? What's going on?
Hey, Matt.
Hey, Destiny.
So
what's new? What have you been up to? What have you been playing? What have you been doing?
I 100%ed. How do you say that?
100% completed? 100%?
100% is fine. Yeah.
Okay, I 100%ed Broforce.
Nice.
Yes.
You got every bro?
Yes.
With Natasha, shout out.
Yeah. Natasha.
I'm really, really curious. Sorry. Quick spoilers for Broforce of all games.
Which, if you're curious about, you can check out on our YouTube channel, Burnout Brighter, where we do a Let's Play of it.
Like, cover your ears for like 30 seconds.
Huh?
What's the last bro?
I don't know, because you don't get them in, like, order. You just get them all.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, who was your last bro?
I don't remember.
What was the last boss? Is it Satan?
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, like, I feel like you knew it was going to be Satan.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping it was going to be Jesus.
No. Did you, like, as you play... Excuse me. As you play, like, you know, you go to, like, a place where it's, like, aliens. Like aliens from the movie Alien.
Oh, I didn't know.
No, I never got far enough.
I've played the first, like, world probably like 12 times.
Yeah, me too. I don't think I've ever gotten that much past that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, the game's so fun. All right, so uncover your ears. Wait, if their ears are covered.
It's been 30 seconds. They're fine.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, I 100%ed that. I've been playing Animal Crossing. I got an S on my house decoration.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Bubbles gave me a framed picture of her, which means we're besties now.
Nice.
And me and Eric are going steady.
Ooh.
That's really cute.
Yeah, he's so cute. I
Eric?
love his little character.
What
Eric-
animal is he?
He's a reindeer?
He's like a deer, yeah.
A deer? He's so cute. And all he likes to do is eat. He's a foodie, so it's perfect.
He's adorable. He's actually one of the animals that I am considering to try and recruit onto my island.
Yeah, he's so cute.
He looks
I
super
like give
cute.
him like Argyle sweaters and stuff because he's such a nerd.
Yeah, he's adorable.
So I've been doing that. I've recently been making really weird videos on my Instagram. I did one where I like basically shit all over Barrett's character.
Because you came over and played.
I went over and played Final Fantasy
7 remake in my
7
place.
remake with
Sorry, which game?
Final Fantasy
7
remake.
Okay, cool.
Final.
Just making sure that I'm not the one to bring it up this episode because it's always you.
It's
and
the
like
remake. It was the remake, so it's not the same.
All right.
You always bring up the original.
Okay.
And in Destiny's defense, I did invite her over.
He invited me over.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh my god, it was so hot. He had this candlelight dinner set up.
It was quite warm in my room,
It
actually.
was quite hot in the room. It was very hot.
Nice. And then?
And then other stuff happened. No. Okay, so
I don't approve of any of this.
What? So yeah, I've been doing that, and I've been looking at some other indie games on Steam.
Nice.
There's one called something KO. I'm sorry, guys. I'll figure it out, and Matt will put it in the thing. But anyways, it's this game, and it's about this girl whose cat gets kidnapped. And
dang.
It's really cute, and then she just beats the shit out of, like, these invading aliens.
So is it like a female John Wick, kind of?
That's what I thought.
Right?
It's super cutesy and animated.
Interesting.
Nice.
But it's like a beat 'em up.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That sounds like a
so,
lot of fun.
That one. There were actually a lot of really cool games that were on. And then I know at some point I'm going to play the new Streets of Rage, which I haven't done yet.
Yep. Catch a Let's Play of that coming up soon.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it.
And is it a good time, guys? Because we've been playing a little something. So we're going to have our first, we don't have like an official name for it, but like almost like a video game book club. We're going to be playing the game Gris. And in a couple weeks on the podcast, we're going to be doing like a full deep dive into the game because it does deal with a bunch of mental health stuff. So if anybody's curious, you can find it on Switch, on PlayStation, on Xbox Game Pass. And if you want to play it in the next couple weeks, it's only 3 to 4 hours long, so it's quite a short game. None of us have played it yet. We've all heard incredible things, and the art style looks beautiful, but we're going to be playing it to talk about on the podcast. So if anyone's curious, go ahead and play through the game. We'll talk about it in a couple weeks, and it'd be awesome to get some feedback from the community about what people also thought. So that'll be our first. We're going to be doing this every month to 2 months. So that'll be our first video game book club.
I forgot to
game.
say I checked out Senua's Sacrifice.
Oh, nice. Hellblade?
I didn't like it.
What about it did you not like?
It was really repetitive. Like the gameplay.
Yeah.
And I just felt like there was a lot of time walking and trying to fucking find runes.
Yeah.
And I got really like
That was
bored.
That was my exact problem with the game too.
I just wanted it to be a little like faster. I love the fact that they had like the runestones and it told about like the Norse, because now I'm really into it because of God of War, so I thought it was all interesting to hear the story. But then like, and I didn't like the ending.
Did you actually beat it?
No. I watched the ending. I didn't stay all the way to the...
Okay.
Let's
not talk about
Let's not talk about the ending, because I actually do want to talk about it more fully on another episode, because I think it's a super important game for mental health. And I am going to try and go back to it. I don't know if I can dump the difficulty down on the puzzles, because my same issues with the game.
It's a long game.
My same issues were the ones that you had. Like, I found myself meandering around a lot, and like I just felt like it starts so strong, and the combat's okay. I had some issues with the combat, but I felt like I could have gotten past it. But it was just the gameplay. Like, the game is beautiful. I like what they're trying to do with the story. It seems interesting. I haven't seen the ending yet. But the gameplay is what completely failed for me.
I wonder if since they came out, they've done some updates to tone down puzzle difficulty or something. I don't know. I don't know how you do that, because they're physically in the world. I don't know if they like, make the positions broader, so just like show you where they are, just skip them completely. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd be that because that'd be my biggest thing. I feel
like you have to have the puzzles. I feel like you can't skip them, because like a part of her psychosis is
seeing things in the world.
Things that don't happen.
But even
if maybe you have it like a hint button.
Yeah, if they highlight a little bit more, or like if you don't find them in the first 3 or 4 minutes, then maybe they'll kind of get bright or whatever, right? Just a way to kind of smooth the system out, because sometimes you have to catch them at such specific angles that I just didn't enjoy that part of it.
Interesting. Yeah, I'd love to talk about it more.
Yeah, we will. Darren, what's new?
Yeah, man, I really want to talk about the game. I loved it. I know you guys were a little lukewarm on it, but it was like one of my top 3 games of the year it came out. But I also actually did start Gris, which I'm not going to talk about, because I'm going to save my opinions for when we actually do talk about it.
Yeah.
But I did start Gris.
Nice, okay.
I don't know how far I am yet.
Okay.
But bench that for a second. I also play a little more Persona, and I'm kind of done talking about Persona. I'll talk about Persona more when I actually beat it.
Yeah.
I'm like 75 hours in, and I'm on like halfway through the game, probably, I guess at this point, or a little more than
well, we don't know what the third
act is.
Yeah.
So probably like halfway.
Okay, just very, very quickly, like, just tell me what's going on in non-spoiler as possible.
I finished summer vacation.
Okay.
So I just I'm right at the end of that arc. I got the trophy for finishing that arc.
I'm farther than that, and I'm now at 50 hours.
Yeah. I don't know what.
That's because you play like nonstop. Like he doesn't do it like.
Well, I also was screwing around in Thieves Den a lot, playing some some Tycoon.
Cool.
So, anyways, in terms of like other stuff that I've really been up to, I've been trying to catch up on like TV shows and movies and things.
Did you watch it?
I finally watched the last episode of, I was going to say the Midnight Special. Midnight Gospel.
What do you think?
I did not watch the in-between episodes between episode 3 and then the final episode.
You didn't need to.
I didn't need to. That final episode was fantastic. It was like a stunning, beautiful, sad piece of television. Like, I have nothing bad to say about that final episode. I did not.
Did you watch it yet?
No, I haven't yet, no.
I will not watch the rest of the show, but I'm happy I watched at very least that one episode, because of just, like, it's an episode of the main character, like...
Wait, don't tell him, because he hasn't seen it.
Okay, well, I won't even say the premise of the episode.
Just watch the last episode.
I will. I want to give the show a try.
If you're all interested, at the very least, watch that final episode, because it's...
There's no through line for the stories or anything, right?
There's just a little.
Well, I mean,
I could tell by the end there's a little, but not enough that it's going to matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I think that final episode stands up on its own.
Okay, cool.
Very good.
Yeah.
And then I also... I did cry. I did cry watching it.
Too.
I cried quite a lot.
Well, now I'm going to cry.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty interesting that I could watch a show. It's like the first 2 episodes, I'm like, I don't like this at all. And then the final episode, I'm like, this is art.
Because
this
it was so different. It was like the first one was like just people rambling about random things, and like the last one was so serious and hit home, and you knew
much more personal.
Much more personal. You really have to watch it.
I will. I've heard good things about it, so I'm curious to give it a watch.
And the last thing is I watched a Spanish horror film called The Platform.
Oh, nice. So the one you talked about, you mentioned it last week that you were not able to watch it. You were able to watch it, and thoughts?
It was fantastic. I loved it.
Yeah?
I loved The Platform. For those you don't know, the basic premise of the movie is it's a vertical prison where every floor has 2 people on it, and there's a platform that goes up and down between the floors, and that starts at the top and brings a massive amount of food that's enough for everybody in the prison, but it brings it down 1 floor at a time. So every floor is getting the previous floor's leftovers. And if everyone was to, take their normal share, then there'd be enough food for everybody. But clearly that's not how it is.
No, it sounds like society.
Yeah, so it's, it's very, philosophical and very, political about what it's saying about society and capitalism. And I don't know how I feel about the ending, but I think the movie is definitely worth watching. It's really, really good.
Nice.
I have a question. Have you ever seen the Book of Eli?
I have seen the Book of Eli.
What did you think? Have you seen the Book of Eli?
It was a long time ago. I don't actually remember a lot about it. I was also pretty young when I watched it, I think.
I saw it for the first time, this past weekend. Please rewatch it. Please watch it.
I've always been curious
to know what you think about it, because I obviously had gripes about it, but there were also some really good things about it.
Yeah, I'd be interested to watch. I remember when I watched it, I liked it, but I think I liked it for very superficial reasons. I was not thinking about the commentary or anything like that. Platform was really, really good though, and then I just watched the last couple episodes of Rick and Morty, which
I haven't even seen it yet. Are they good?
Yeah, I haven't seen the last 2 either.
The last 2 are both really good. I really like them.
Nice.
I don't like this 4th season. I think this 4th season's been pretty bad. And I think the past 2 episodes have brought the quality back up to where it was at the 3rd season.
I'm really nervous that they're gonna fall off because they take so long between each.
They said there's gonna be a shorter gap between season 4 and 5.
Yeah, I think they said they're doing 4, 5, and 6. They're making them back to back.
Okay, because
it takes a long time.
I know. I went to school for it.
Yeah, no. I mean, for them specifically, I feel longer than normal.
Yeah, it takes way long, and I'm just what, Anyway, so Matt?
Yeah. Matt, what are you up to?
Wow, guys, look at that. I gotta ask a question.
We had to get in before you just jumped the gun.
Yeah, because you would have done that.
Look at y'all learning. What's new with me? Yeah, I've also been just Persona. Yeah, I think Darren, we'll save our Persona rambles
until we're way further.
Yeah, wait until we're much further. Well, we should do a spoiler cast on it.
Until at very least basic impressions of the 3rd.
Yeah. Still great. If you're curious about it, check it out. I've also just been playing more Animal Crossing. I find myself I have a routine with that game now, where I hop in every morning to do a certain amount of things, and even if I don't take on a massive project for the day, I still find myself going in to check just what's going on the island. And I find myself actually genuinely enjoying seeing a bunch of my animals and shit, and I'm just even if again I'm not spending more than half an hour to 40 minutes in the game on any given day at this point in time, I can still feel it pulling at me, and I'm there are all these things that I know I want to do. I just know how long it's going to take me to do them.
It just takes so much money in that fucking game.
I've actually kind of just dropped the game completely.
Yeah, have you?
I will probably come back to it later.
Yeah.
The beauty of Animal Crossing lasts forever, but yeah, I'm probably done for now.
Nice. All right, well that's okay.
But
I just want Flick to come to my island. I just want him to come to my island.
Flick is the bug man.
It's we broke up, and he's left all his shit there, and he won't come and get it.
Well, I hope he comes back soon.
But you're still being engaged by the day to day.
Yeah. I'm still really, really enjoying it. Outside of that, we've gotten deeper and deeper into that K-drama I talked a little about last week. The World's Unmarried. It continues to be fucking awesome. It's surprisingly fucked up, and
the one with the real sex scenes.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, there's actual sex scenes in it, which is not a thing for most K-dramas. They'll be oh, they kissed. Oh shit. And it's surprisingly fucked up. The main actress is just insanely talented, and she's incredible. And she just carries the show. Everything else around her is also amazing, but she's just so good that it's
is she good by Korean standards, or
no? She's just fucking good. Okay. She's just fucking good. The way that she carries the show, and her expressions and the way that she acts, it's fucking awesome. And then that's pretty much it. I've just been pretty much living through those 3 things. I also started a new anime called Tower of God.
What's that about?
It's essentially about, I don't know too much. It's only 6 episodes in as a series, and I've only watched about 4 of them. But it's apparently actually based on a Korean webtoon, which I didn't know about, and it's actually being made by Crunchyroll.
Oh.
Because they're getting into making their own anime, and people are basically saying this could be a game changer, because all the majority of anything anime is based on something from Japan, right?
Right. Yeah.
This is the first time that it's a full, and they have a legit Japanese voice cast, and everything, but it's based on a Korean
That's
webtoon. It's basically about this.
It's on Crunchyroll?
It's on Crunchyroll, yeah. It's basically about this guy who goes in to climb this tower, and he's chasing after a girl that was essentially taking care of him, and she went in to climb, and essentially, like, the premise is that, like, if you get to the top of the tower, any wish that you have will be granted. So she's going in for a reason, and he goes in to go after her, and, like, basically every floor is, like, there's, like, plenty of other people who are also trying to climb, and it's like challenges that they have to try and complete and survive to get to the next floor.
Man, I'm a sucker for shows and games and stuff that have a premise where it's like level based.
Yeah, me too, dude.
I don't know why.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's really interesting so far. Characters are great. Animation has like this really distinct style to it. It's really pretty.
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, and it's fun so far. I'm really enjoying it. And like I said, like every episode is basically like a floor or a challenge that they have to try and get through. Some of them have multiple ones. Yeah, if you're interested at all, it's making a lot of waves online. So I decided to check it out,
That's
and
awesome.
I'm really enjoying it.
You should see 7. It's some Japanese anime on Netflix, and it's hilarious.
Scissor 7, the one
Yes.
you told me about it before.
Did you watch it?
I haven't gone around to it
I'm
yet.
getting tired of you not doing it.
I'm gonna do it because I have it saved on my list. I just haven't actually watched it yet.
Because they just came out with the 2nd season.
Already?
Yeah.
I feel like you just told me about it recently.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Cool. Well then, that's 2 seasons of things that I'm gonna watch. Have you watched the 2nd season? Not yet. Okay. All right. Well, guys, that's a good preamble into our main topic. So this week, I brought the topic to the table this week, and what I wanted to talk about was video games being used as a form of therapy. Because I feel like more so and more so as technology progresses, people are finding more ways to use technology as a whole in therapy, right? And to helping people deal with their mental illnesses. And what I wanted to talk about was video games being able to help someone deal with their mental illness, or even being used in a clinical setting. So where I want to start off this conversation is that I've looked up a bunch of articles here. I'm going to link them all in the show notes if you're curious. But the first one that I want to talk about is that there was actually one study done that suggested that playing Tetris in the few hours after a traumatic event might reduce flashbacks from that event. Essentially what they found, and this is coming from psychreg.org/videogamestherapy, like because they use it to kind of help distract you, that it can actually reduce flashbacks. So if something
like keeping your mind focused, or
exactly. So like,
Can that be done with like any game? Any puzzle?
the study that was done was based on Tetris, and they haven't done enough research as a whole to be able to kind of like identify if it's something specifically about Tetris or it's just something that like in that respect. But like, I think that there's a lot of really interesting ways to use video games to be able to help people. Even Gris, which we're going to be playing in a couple of weeks, like if you look up just the summary, it's about a character going through the 5 stages of grief. So I wanted to know, Darren, I'll ask you this first. What do you think about video games specifically compared to maybe any other medium might be able to help someone deal with some sort of mental illness?
Well, I think the most interesting thing about video games being used for therapy or some kind of therapeutic properties is the interactivity aspect of it. Because watching a movie or reading a book is kind of a passive thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. But because of the interactivity of a video game, I think it can kind of put you into a mindset, an interesting mindset that makes you more present in the thing. Right,
the thing, whatever thing that you're doing.
Like for example, I think one of the articles that you mentioned, or one of the articles I was reading too, was talking about PTSD victims and using Call of Duty or some and other war games with PTSD victims to help them grapple with, like being on the battlefield.
Essentially, like what it is it's exposure therapy, right? Is that if they are exposed to it enough, then the fear or the traumatic event will lose power because of just constantly being exposed to it. And
because of a game, you're interacting with it. You feel like you're actually you're in control of it. It makes you feel like you're more a part of it. And I'm not even talking about forget about VR for a second where you're physically there. Just like the act of I am controlling this soldier. I am on this battlefield. I am doing this thing and I'm taking agency in the situation. I definitely think it can, definitely a powerful tool.
I think so too. Destiny, what about you? What do you think about video games being used as a type of therapy?
I mean, like, I think it's plausible. But the thing, like, how many cases have been done on people with PTSD playing, like, war-type games and actually getting relief?
Well,
because I don't know, that seems kind of, like, contradictory. It's just putting them back in a situation, and even though I get that they're not actually there, like, it's a very similar situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if somebody shoots them, like,
Yeah.
they're dead. Not in real life, but... You know, like...
Well, it's actually, like, take video games away from it for a second. Exposure therapy is actually, like, a clinical way that they'll deal with it. And instead of playing video games, what they'll do is they'll make them lie down and mentally go through the event again and again and again and again, right? So, and that's proven to work, right? Because exposure therapy is a very
For some people.
For some, right? Obviously,
Okay.
there's no blanket statement for any sorts of therapy, right? But, like, for some people, it does work. So, essentially, what they're doing is they're taking that same idea of exposure therapy and giving it a physical, not physical, but like an actual form that they can see and interact with.
I understand that. I'm just wondering, like, how many, like, percentages, how many, like, the studies on it, how many people has it, like, really
That's
helped?
a good question. I mean, yeah, because I wonder what the data would be like on that, or
Yeah.
how hard that data would be to come by, because, you know, like medication, no therapy or no treatment is going to be, like, equivalently...
Right. So I know
usable
how
on
you were,
everybody.
like, saying, like, watching a movie or reading a book is it's kind of passive, but I think for some people those things can be therapeutic
Sure.
because it takes their mind off of whatever their anxiety is. And I mean, it also depends on what kind of mental health issues they have, obviously.
For sure.
So, and I think something that we, like, don't really touch on, and I just wanted to touch on it, is, like anxiety and mental health with women who can't have children. So one of these things is that I know there are, like, these virtual worlds that are created and these games where women can have these and I also think building relationships in games helps people who have anxiety about being in a relationship with someone. And so I had a friend and she can't have children, so, like, in this, like, virtual world she has kids, and like this company has created these, like, 3D kids or whatever, and they act like babies, and, like, it gets really deep because some of these women, they take their avatar and they get their avatar pregnant. There's, like, HUDs where they go through all the morning sickness and all these things, and, like, they take a pregnancy test and they go to a gynecologist, and it's just like, well, basically what I'm saying is I think there is a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of room.
Like value.
For all kinds of help to come through games for many different types of mental illness and issues that people have.
So I know it's not exactly the same, but it's in the same world. Like, there was a big story, not a big story, but there was a story floating around a couple months ago of a woman who lost her child. Her child was young, like 8 or 9 years old, and she passed away due to an illness. And essentially, what a company did, I think it was actually a Korean company, they developed, based on pictures, videos, like voice memos, everything. They essentially recreated a digital version of the child that had passed away. And using VR, the lady was able to step into, like, a tranquil, like, it was basically like a tranquil little meadow, and she was able to see and interact with her child again. Now, granted, it was a limited capability, right? But, like, she heard her kid's voice, she saw her face, right? Like, obviously with the graphics technology, it wasn't, like, fucking
perfect.
It wasn't perfect, but like imagine, like, you know, like simple graphics that we have.
Reminds me of, do you know that, was it that movie called AI with it's like a Peter Pan story, but it was, like, with this little android boy.
I think that's AI. I never saw the movie. It was Steven Spielberg, right?
Yeah. And he was created, the little boy was created because the real son died. Kind of like fucking Astro Boy or whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, that's what that reminds me of, like, creating a digital version of your, and that would be really fucking hard for me.
I agree, because, like, for me, like, she obviously, as you watch the video and see her, like, hear her child for the first time, because she hears her first, and then she, like, the kid comes running around a corner and she runs up to her being like, mom, right? Like, she has a very visceral reaction to it. She immediately starts bawling, right? Obviously, right? Like, and, like, again, this type of therapy can be useful for some people. I just like, for me personally, like, I don't know if I could ever do it.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it would just make me more sad that, like, they're not there. Like, I think about it, like, with my dad. I think about, like, the last time I might hear his voice.
Yeah.
And how that might feel, like, if, something were to happen. And to hear his, like, to have someone create something where I hear him again, but he's not really there.
Yeah.
Would just... I think that would send me into, like, a spiral of depression.
Yeah, and, like, the thing is, it's like, it would obviously have to be used in a very clinical setting to be able to have trained people there to kind of help you deal with it after.
Because I'm guessing in this story, she thought it was beneficial to her.
Yeah, like, she agreed to it, and, like, she was all there for it, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and obviously, this was just a few months ago, so there are no updates about how long-form therapy with it would help her, in the next coming, actually dealing with the grief. And, like... I just don't know, because for me, Destiny, like, I agree. Like, I think seeing whoever it is, be it a child, a parent, a friend, or whoever, someone that you've lost, and then dealing with them in that way again, I think for me, at least looking from the outside in, it's obviously impossible to speculate how you'd actually feel in the moment after going through all of that. But, like, I think there would be a very sharp disconnect from the first minute or two of seeing them and hearing them, and then realizing that you can't, like, interact with them properly, right? Like, asking them a question won't necessarily generate an answer. Right? And, like, I don't know, Darren, like, do you think you would do it, like, given the opportunity?
I cannot even begin to speculate on whether I would do that or not. I would, because I've never been in that situation before, so I can't predict how I would actually feel. I don't know. Maybe, but also maybe not. I feel like right now, I feel like I wouldn't be able to do it, but maybe... I don't know.
It's hard, right?
The problem with any kind of therapy to any degree is it's going to affect so many different people in such wildly different ways.
Right.
But that's why I think it's like really important that people are at least attempting to do the research and finding these ways to treat.
I agree.
Because even if it only helps a certain subset of people, those people are still being helped.
Yeah.
To circle back around to the VR / like the exposure therapy, I did find an article here that I was reading before, and basically what they did is they took 10 veterans who had been in combat scenarios, and then because of something that happened, ended up having PTSD, and they put them through. Like this virtual war zone, and it wasn't like a Call of Duty, like it was a specifically designed simulation where it was based at least partly on their specific trauma. Now, granted, with 10 people, that's as a control group, it's A, small, and B, like they have it's small enough that they can personalize them. Exactly. But what they found was that they had a 70% remission rate within 6 months. Which means, like, within 6 months, 70% of people were no longer reporting any sort of symptomology relating to PTSD. So 7 out of 10, essentially,
that's really good.
Is huge, right? Like, they found that, like, exposure therapy generally has, it has good rates. I mean, any sort of, like, anything.
No, I think that's good, but I also think, like, the main thing is that they personalize that to
help them.
Right, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, would just a regular game like Call of Duty really work in that way?
You wouldn't know until there's actually...
And the thing that I'm curious about, like... we're at a point now where you have something like an RPG Maker, right? You have something like a Mario Maker. In 20 or 30 years' time, could you have something as specific as like a VR Maker where you can change the environment on the fly to personalize it better? You know what I mean? Like,
that anyway.
Right? Like, I think that's something that can have a lot of value for people.
Well, like, even like you were saying, I think even that article you were mentioning before by the what was the name of it?
Psychreg.org.
Like, even in that article, they're talking about that, playing games is still not a replacement for actual therapy.
Of course, yeah.
But they said, like, it was shown to have some effective results in, like, holding out between sessions or, like, doing something in the meantime for mild symptoms and things like that.
The other way that they were talking about was actually for child psychology, being that, like, if obviously when a child goes through trauma, their brains aren't developed enough to always process it properly or them being able to actually talk about it. So what some therapists have started doing is to actually, like, to give the kid a game to play while in the therapy session and then have him start talking and probing with questions while they're playing. Because they're more distracted by doing whatever it is on screen, then they can possibly feel less anxious and more comfortable because they have something else that they're focusing on. They're able to open up more and more quickly. So like even just like that simple thing for a child to be able to focus on a game where they have like a more, you know, they have a more active role in it.
Maybe it's because they're letting their guard down.
Exactly.
That's what I think about. Like when you're playing a game, like you don't always pay attention and you just answer to get the person to shut up.
Well, that's exactly the point, right? Yeah. So just so that they're able to actually get not get information, but to be able to communicate their feelings.
Yeah, to get more information about their problem.
Yeah, and just to be able to actually talk about it. Because like you said, Darren, like any sort of therapy, if it's able to help anyone at any point, like I think it's super, super valuable. And there's another game here that an article from headstuff.org talks about called Deep VR. And I'm gonna read this paragraph here. This article was written by Frankie Wallace. He wrote that in 2016, a team of game developers unveiled the immersive Deep VR experience, which guides users into a soothing underwater environment where they learn to combat the symptoms of stress and anxiety. In Deep, the user's breath controls their movements, leading them further into exploration of their surroundings. Deep's game mechanics encourage users to practice tolerating, managing, and eventually overcoming feelings of anxiety and depressions. Patients can then use these breathing techniques developed in-game to help overcome symptoms in real-world settings.
That's cool.
Interesting.
That is really, really cool. And I want to say something that I just thought about based on that. Kind of not related to it, but also sort of related.
Tangentially related to it.
Tangentially related. I think that's an amazing way to get someone to maybe, like, practice, like, meditation.
Yeah.
And, like, I was thinking just instinctively about Ring Fit Adventure. And how Ring Fit... Do you remember anything about Ring Fit? Yeah, like, it's a full RPG to, like, be physically fit.
Yeah.
Couldn't you do something like that for, like, meditation and for, like, practicing, like, best practices and, like... Oh my god, my brain's not working. And, like, good mental health...
Yeah, and
hygiene. Mental hygiene, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Practicing good mental hygiene, like breathing exercises and, like... mindfulness exercises and like building RPG mechanics about that.
Well, even just being able to handle a certain situation in a certain way, right? Like,
because I think that's what video games could be really good at that I haven't seen being done a lot is training you to habitualize good practices. Like maybe things that, because gaming is like a habit and it can become a habit, and like you're talking about Animal Crossing, just getting into a daily routine. For me, when I was trying to practice meditation, I found it really, really hard to kind of want to put myself in that mindset sometimes.
Right.
So, like, maybe putting that in, like, a game form.
It's also just, like...
could, like, help me practice that.
Just this, like, the simple act of gamifying it to give us some sort of sense of progression, right? Like, if you feel that if you're learning without even realizing that you're learning, you know what I mean? Like, if you're benefiting in game,
tricking yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? To have these things, and then when you do start to have possibly like an anxiety attack, or you are having a day where depression hits you more than not,
remember those experiences. Exactly,
and you might be able to have some sort of breathing exercise or some sort of stretching, or even some form of yoga or whatever it may be that might help you deal with whatever you're dealing with on that day.
Yeah, because this breathe game, if this breathe game is deep, so
yeah,
deep.
Called Breathe the Game.
Breathe the game. That game where you breathe. Deep. If it's an engaging enough game, and it's a game that people want to play, then, like, the fact that it's good for you is, like, amazing. Because I
think that's really cool. I think I would get bored, though.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. It has to be...
Because you have to... But I think I'm just, like, bored with... I can't meditate, because I couldn't just sit there and... breathe as I start to get anxious when I have to think about my breathing.
That's why I think it's kind of interesting, because your breathing is not, if you're playing deep, it's not a self thing. It's a, like, focus on something else thing. Like, I'm not breathing to help myself. I'm breathing to control this character.
No, but I understand, but I have to change my breathing in order to do it. And that's what bothers me. I'm not just breathing naturally.
You have to focus on it.
I have to focus on it.
I've tried to get into meditation as well before, Darren, and I had kind of the same issue. Is that just like, for me, it was just because I have to now actually pay attention to my breathing. It's like one of those fucking things where like people are like, you can always see your nose, and now that I said that, you're gonna notice it, and you know what I mean? It's like one of those things where like now that I'm I can now that I'm aware of it, and now that I have to control it, it's something that I now almost have to worry about. Like it's like,
yes,
you know what I mean? Like it's this thing that kicks in my mind.
If I'm sleeping next to someone and their breathing is different than my breathing, then I automatically try to reach their breathing, but I feel like very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then I can't get back to my normal breathing pattern.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Destiny, you had a bit of like a theater background too, didn't you? Mm-hmm. Didn't you do a lot of breathing exercises?
Yes,
theater?
I don't like them.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, like my mom swears by meditation. I know the mental hygiene benefits of it, and I completely understand it. For me, it's just that like I think the wall to get to that place is at least feels so high that like
it feels a little overwhelming.
It does. That's what I mean.
Like I can't see myself getting to that point where it's like you empty yourself and you're just calm. Like I can't, and my mind is always like thinking like, am I doing this right? I'm not there yet. I don't feel comfortable.
Well,
am I meditating?
They say with meditation, like especially the first couple times, your focus should not be getting onto that point because you won't. There's no way for your first like 6 or whatever sessions you're not going to be able to actually get there. So it's more just trying to be in a headspace where you're less judgmental on the thoughts that are flowing through.
Especially because like I feel like if you were to gamify this more so, like you were talking about, Darren, and like they found a way to do this with Deep in this underwater setting, I would love to see it expanded on with different locations. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because Deep puts you in this tranquil underwater world, which is a great place to start. But like for people who suffer from a lot of social anxiety, to be able to put them into like a party setting, right? And being able to put them in a mall, being able to put them in a place where there are lots of other avatars, for example, around them, and especially like. I think VR can have massive potential here because even VR multiplayer in a way, right? Like Werewolves Within is a game that like it's on PSVR and I'm sure it's on other platforms as well. But you guys know the game Werewolves?
No.
It's like Mafia.
No.
It's like one of those like hidden role games where everybody's playing a certain role.
We played it with Chris and Madison before. Everybody had a card and you had to like lie about who you were.
Oh, it's online?
There's an online version of it.
Oh, okay, I remember that.
There's a VR version.
There's a VR version of it where you're actually sitting around like a campfire and like
you see the other people.
You see the other people around you and like they're like the werewolf. Once you catch them, like literally like is a werewolf. So the person like will see that they're a werewolf like physically. Oh. So like there's this thing. So, but like for me like and I saw the like I'm on Reddit a lot, but I have a lot of hard time engaging on Reddit. But I saw a lot of like the PSVR subreddit talking about how incredible the game is and how much fun it is. But for me, just thinking about being able to get on there and talk to other people who I have no like basis for talking to whatsoever makes me anxious just thinking about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like just to be able to, and like that's part of the reason why I think I don't play a lot of online games, especially with like
strangers.
With strangers, like for me, it makes me incredibly anxious. I played Firewall Zero Hour, another VR game, kind of like a Counter-Strike game where it's a military like team-based shooter, and I had nothing but lovely experiences with people. But like, every time I put the headset on and started to play that game, I'd be like, fuck, what do I say? Like, I have no problem talking to people most of the time, but being in that setting, I think like...
Did you have to speak immediately, or could you type first?
No, there's no type. You're in VR, right? So there's no way to type.
Oh, it was a VR game.
Yeah, there's no way to type, right? So it's like literally like I'm standing there and like I turn and there's a person beside me and like we're looking at each other and it's just literally like we're staring at each other and I'm just like, if I look away, I can still see him looking at me and I'm just like, hey man, like how's it going? You know what I mean? Like it's just, and again, I had nothing but pleasant experiences.
I'm really surprised because you're such an outgoing, talkative person.
Yeah, and like
it really surprises me.
I don't know what it is about this element of it just being entirely unknown. You know what I mean? Like it's there's something about it that just.
But see, like at work, you didn't know anybody. You just jumped in. You invited people out.
I think that's because you're forced into a situation where you have to be with these people every day.
But you don't have to invite them out or get to know them.
That's true.
But I think I know. I completely understand. Like for me, I think it's just more like I can't see this person and I can't interact with them. And I also, outside of just like popping the headset off, obviously, like it's just weird. Like I don't know what it is.
Can you play like online games, or do you feel weird about that talking to people?
But I've never really had an experience like that. Most of the games that I play online are with people, with friends, with people I know.
Or you just don't put it on the mic at all.
Yeah, or I just don't turn on the mic whatsoever.
Oh. Well, maybe in the future we should have you try it.
But that's what I mean. Like, so I think like using games even in that kind of social anxiety way, because I think that is kind of what's part of it. You know, like I feel like it could give people an outlet to be able to experiment without any sort of.
No, I agree.
Yeah, so
I
like,
have different social anxiety where like I don't feel comfortable with men who approach me in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or I automatically get like put on the spot and I just don't want to interact with them.
Yeah.
Because you know how like some people go out to meet people?
Yeah.
I have never gone out to meet anyone. Like,
yeah.
and if someone does come up to me, it makes me super uncomfortable. So everybody I talk to, if I talk to them or if they speak to me first, there's no... I'm not playing the game where I'm trying to get with them or anything. It's just simply friendly. But online, on gaming online, I feel much more comfortable talking to people. And maybe it's because like I'm behind a screen.
There's a wall. Oh.
But I feel more protected that way than how you're so open in real life. So it's like the opposite.
It's an interesting difference. I mean, Darren, like you don't play a lot of online games either. Is that just because you don't like them, or is it part of it because?
Yeah, for me, I use gaming mostly as just like a solo. I prefer gaming as a solo experience because I use it as time to like. It's me time.
Decompress.
It's decompression time. It's me time. I like following the story. Mm. So I think it's less the social experience. Although I do experience that where like when I'm playing an online game, I'd rather just not talk to anybody if I'm not talking to a friend. Like the only time I'll put my mic in is if I'm chatting with friends, which is weird because I used to play like Halo 2 back when I was younger, and I'd throw on that. I'd be like a middle schooler, and I'd throw on the mic no problem and talk to random strangers. But I also think for some reason the time of like the original Xbox, like the golden age of Xbox Live with like Halo 2 and Halo 3, for some reason I feel like people were more willing to just chat with strangers. But probably I think some of that's because they didn't have the party system that the other consoles had at that time. I don't have an experience PC gaming, so that's why I'm like talking exclusively about consoles.
I think part of it could also be just that you were younger. You maybe less
of a filter or less of
a filter and less of a thought process for consequence. You know what I mean? Like you're.
Yeah, I'd prefer not to talk to a stranger on an online game if I didn't have to. Let's put it that way. Like I was playing Resident Evil Resistance recently.
That's the online side of 3?
Online side of Resident Evil 3. Didn't like it, by the way. Just throw that out there. But, like, that's a very cooperative, like, you need to stick together situation. And some people had their mics on and they were talking, but I just, like, refused to put mine on.
I'm really interested in why you refused to talk to these people that you were playing this game
I think for me, maybe I just don't feel confident enough in my ability, and I feel like an embarrassment. So I'm like, I don't want to talk to them.
I really do.
You're really intelligent and well-spoken.
Well, thank you. But when I play games, online games, especially games that I'm new to, this was like my first couple times playing it, I'm like, don't want to be the noob that everybody yells at.
So it's more of, what's the word?
Performance anxiety. Like, not in that way, but you know what I mean? Like, it is, though. It is. It's just not being able to, like, you're worried that you're not going to be able to live up to whatever imaginary bar you have in your head.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
these guys look at their rank, like, they're so much better than I am.
Yeah.
They see that you're not at that rank.
I know. But
I wonder how much of it also is, like, you and I, Darren, growing up primarily and since then primarily playing console gaming with you kind of being more PC.
I mean, I am now, but
yeah, I know. I mean now, right? Because like, I just wonder how much of it is might have to do with that because like I feel like PC gaming is more open to multiplayer.
Well, yeah, if you play it like an MMO.
Exactly, right? Because there's more type of that game, you know, to engage
but, like,
in.
It's not like you get on there and you immediately jump on Mike, you know?
That's
like,
true.
You get on there and, like, you just meet people. You might be, like, doing a raid, so you join a raid and somebody likes the way you're playing, so, like, do you want to join our party? And then over time, you get to know them, and then you may start talking. Like, it's not like you get in the game and you put on the mic and you're like, hey, everybody, what the fuck is up?
Yeah.
Like, that's not how it is. It's like you get to know people over time, and then once you're comfortable, you start talking to people. But, like, it sounds like you guys don't ever...
We don't even want to reach that point.
You don't even try to get comfortable with people.
I will not. I was just like, who cares about people?
You know, I would love to come back to this topic with Aaron and Sarah eventually when they have them on because
they meet.
They met
online.
They met that are now married.
If you met your girlfriend in an online game, that would probably be like the perfect fucking girl for you.
Like they met. They met online and now they're happily married. But like, I would love to have an episode with them both on to kind of hear their side of this, because like I'm curious, but like, so that's what I mean. I think video games with VR, but like the potential for VR too, like could have massive benefits for VR gaming, like even dealing with phobias, right? Like exposure therapy is is one of the major bases that they use to deal with phobias, right?
Yeah, when you brought up exposure therapy, that was my first thought. You usually hear about it, it's like, oh, someone's... Oh.
Jesus Christ.
I was just going to say, people are scared of spiders. Usually they put like a spider in front of you to help you, and I think
the spider
Jesse just
in
threw a spider.
Animal Crossing fucked me up.
Did you just remember it and like jump?
Oh,
Yeah, like...
Spiders exist.
Because the first time I didn't know, because all the other fucking bugs run away from you.
Yeah.
So like
So
it was
runs
at night,
towards you.
and I was like, oh, it's a spider, and then like it saw me and it was like, and I was like, oh my god, and it just fucking, and it was like, oh, it just like scared you. I was like, that motherfucker bit me.
Yeah.
He came at me. It's funny because like exactly that, right? But that entire experience that you had can be a basis for someone's exposure therapy if they do have a fear of spiders or tarantulas, right?
Please don't put me in a room full of spiders. I hate spiders. I don't think exposure would help me. I would literally fucking die.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is that like, and the thing is like,
So like trying to like normalize it.
Yeah,
You're
so, like-
terrified of the thing. Here's a little bit of it.
they'll put one in on the opposite side of the room, and then like they'll help you deal with it, and then and again, this doesn't done in the span of one session. This will take months and months of build up of dealing with. Okay, now there's one, but it's a little bit closer to you. Now there's two, and like they slowly build up to it, and then that's the whole thing of it being with a therapist, right? Is they're able to
They help you through it.
Both before, during, and afterwards.
Actually, I don't know if Destiny realized this, but this whole episode has been just trying to lead to help get you, help for your fear of spiders.
It's just
Some episode of something, and like, it was some Adventure Time.
Okay.
And like, Jake was trying to help Finn with his fear of water. Have you seen that episode?
Why not? I've seen that episode. The face he makes when the water like touches him
Yeah.
just turns into like
And he
a wrinkled
slowly
mess.
keeps trying to get him into the water with different techniques, and Finn beats the shit out of him every time. Yo, shit was funny.
It's a good episode.
Yeah, it was good.
sounds like a good episode.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. No, so that's pretty much it. Unless there's anything left that you guys are thinking about, but I just think that I'm curious to come back to this topic a few years from now once we see more information or more data come out, because a lot of more testing obviously has to be done to see how else it can benefit.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously we'll be bringing it up again if we do ever have a conversation about Hellblade.
Yeah,
Especially because around when Hellblade 2 comes out around the launch of Series X.
I'm very
gonna try and
curious
play
about that because it doesn't look like the same chick.
It is.
It does no. It does not. It does not look like the same.
It looks like the same to me.
It does not look like the same.
I thought
at
she
all.
looked the same too. But
She does not look. I saw the trailer and she does not look the
Is
same.
it just because the graphics are better? Because the thing is, I saw the documentary with the
I saw
actress.
the documentary, and the girl who plays her had never done any acting before.
Yeah, it's
and then
crazy.
they,
Really good.
Yeah, and then they modeled her after her because the first time they did it's not the same. She
yeah,
does
look
not
at her.
look the
She just
same.
doesn't have the war paint
She
on.
does not look the same. This
she
girl's
does.
face is chubbier. Oh my god, you guys are really bad at facial recognition. No, she does not. She does not look the same.
We're going to have to bench
She
this
just said,
argument
look,
for a while.
not all white people look the same, okay? So, she does not look the same. I know it's supposed to be the same character, but they updated the model or something.
Yeah, no, they definitely changed
Yeah, they
it.
definitely
she
changed it, yeah, for sure.
I know it's supposed to be the same girl, but she
okay, I
doesn't
see.
look the same.
Oh, I see,
as what
okay,
was
yeah,
saying.
I thought you were trying to argue that she was a different person.
No. Like
She just looks like a different
she
person.
She looks different.
Okay.
Also, I just wanted to throw in, and this is completely random, but I think I've always dated a gamer.
Really?
Like,
Well,
I
there's a
was
lot
thinking-
of benefits to dating gamers.
I mean, yeah, a lot of benefits and non-benefits, but I was thinking about it as you guys were talking, and I was like, man, yeah. Like, I've always dated somebody who's, like, been into games.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's super cool.
Do you think you need therapy for this?
Maybe.
The last thing that I want to just throw out there before we move on to news, coming from the same article that we've been pulling from all episode, there's actually I'm gonna read one paragraph here. It says, even Grand Theft Auto has its benefits. When older adults played the game regularly, they were able to maintain more cognitive functioning than non-gamers, which has the potential to make them safer drivers, which is a little counterintuitive when you're thinking about the game.
Yeah.
But yeah,
How old are we talking?
It just says older adults.
Okay.
So maybe like 50s and 60s. Well, maybe like 50s and 60s.
Because after a certain while, like, your eyesight isn't good. You shouldn't be driving.
Yeah. But again, like, just a little thing that, like, even just not thinking about it, but, like, helping people drive.
But why not just a racing game? Like, why that game in particular?
Because there's pedestrians.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have different point values.
Like, you could hit pedestrians.
Yeah, there's different point values for the pedestrians and stuff, you know. Yeah. Okay.
Do they?
No, not actually. I'm just
I was
kidding.
like, I don't remember that.
All right, let's move on to some news. The first piece of news that we're going to start off with was Xbox had an Xbox Inside Xbox. That's it. I almost said Xbox Inside. Inside Xbox, detailing their first batch, or maybe not the first batch, but a batch of Xbox Series X games shown, all from third party. They had nothing first party. We got to see, I'm just going to quickly rattle them off, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Bright Memory Infinite, Call of the Sea, Chorus, Dirt 5, Madden NFL 21, Scarlet Nexus, Scorn, Second Extinction, The Ascent, The Medium, Vampire the Masquerade, Bloodlines 2, and Yakuza Like a Dragon. Darren, we both watched this. And Darren, what do you think? Is it just pick one game from here and tell me what you thought about the conference and tell me, or the presentation, and tell me what you think about one of the games.
Presentation was so bad.
It was shit.
Honestly, I actually am excited for some of those games. I'm looking forward to some of those games. I think the problem was just like the marketing. Bless you.
Thank you. Sorry.
I think that it was just the marketing leading up to it made it a bigger deal than it actually was. Like if they just were like, it's just an Inside Xbox, don't worry about it, people would be like, oh, it's fine, there's some cool games here.
Yeah.
Because like I'm really excited for Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines 2. I'm very excited for Scorn. I'm medium excited for the medium. Extinction 2. I don't even know.
Second Extinction.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, I'm using slang.
So like I'm looking forward to some of these titles. They're not bad titles. It's just like not the future of Xbox like they're trying to market it.
Yeah,
as.
they just they actually went on Twitter and like apologized the next day because like they
Yeah, we fucked up.
there was nothing wrong with the actual.
Did Ubisoft ever apologize?
Ubisoft?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if Ubisoft did, but like they just essentially mismanaged it. Like they mismarketed it. They said that they were going to be taking looks at gameplay. There was literally almost no gameplay in any of those trailers.
Yeah.
They were all in engine, I'm sure, running on the hardware, but like
in engines.
There was no
actually.
there was no like I was expecting to see us as like a 2 to 3 minute clip of the gameplay from of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which Ubisoft
For all
again,
of you that don't understand the difference,
Yeah.
that's what that explanation was for.
Exactly.
I obviously understood it.
yeah,
Thanks, Disney.
props. Yeah, like I'm stoked for Valhalla.
I'm ready for Madden.
The only
NFL.
I know. The only games that jumped out to me were Scarlet Nexus because it looked anime as hell.
Yeah.
So I'm obviously
I was about to say that. That's
yeah.
why.
It looks anime as hell, and the only other one that like
Pass that pigskin around in Madden.
Yeah. That
We
past
should all
that
play
pigskin.
Madden. I'd be terrible at it.
Pigskin and Yakuza Like a Dragon, which is coming to other shit anyway.
Yeah.
This event was just very lukewarm. I didn't like if they had just like you said, Darren, if they had just
What's
dropped
Call
this.
of the Sea?
It
Calling
looks
the Sea?
super pretty.
It looks pretty. That's why I
Yeah.
was like, I like pretty looking games.
I don't remember the trailer, but I'm looking at this photo.
Is it a game that a gamer would play?
a real gamer.
A real gamer?
A real Jamal. Yeah, like
Who could know?
I'm just.
Really?
It's nice to see, Darren, though, that our Summer Games Fest predictions are off to a rockin' fucking start for you.
I didn't see Keanu Reeves' penis, and I'm very sad about it.
There was no.
Somebody's penis?
Oh, you have to go back and listen to that episode. Shit got weird.
Oh wait, I thought there was actual something.
No,
with
but
Keanu
there was
Reeves'
there.
penis.
No, but there was.
I was predicting.
Darren hopes there will be, because he
Darren,
needs.
I just never know about you.
He needs those points, or else he's going to be streaming a game of my choice for 3 hours wearing an outfit that I choose.
Oh man, I heard about that.
Yeah. So yeah, I just thought it was just a stumble when they should have been. They've been building up so much good momentum, and I thought it was just
like a flat.
They were running when they should have been walking at a brisk pace.
Yeah, like
kind of let out a big wet.
it was just an unforced error.
Yeah.
All right, next we're going to talk a little bit about Animal Crossing. So this comes from Joe Scrubbles over at IGN. Sorry, that last article also came from Joe Scrubbles at IGN. I don't know if I said that.
Way to go, just Scrubbles.
Yeah, Mr. Scrubbles. Animal Crossing New Horizons sold 11.77 million copies in its first 11 days on sale.
11/11.
11/11, making it the fastest selling Nintendo Switch game released so far. The figure also was announced as part of today's Nintendo's end-of-year earnings report, which counts sales until the end of March 31st. Animal Crossing has gone on to sell 13.41 million units in its first 6 weeks on sale. Holy shit.
Have we talked about the things we like about Animal Crossing and the things we don't like about it?
That was kind of...
We've done it here and there. Well, we should do a more focused thing on it. But yeah, like this is selling like fucking crazy. I'm sure Corona has a massive part of this, but like my God,
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Somebody's making bank.
13
Fucking
million
Tom Nook.
fucking units.
Some
Raccoon?
games would like some raccoon. Oh, don't.
Is he a raccoon?
Don't. He is a raccoon. No, he's a
Tanuki, a raccoon
which
dog.
is like a Japanese raccoon.
Yeah. Darren, I'm gonna play a little quick game with you. Okay.
Why can't I
yeah.
play?
You can play too.
Okay.
This
Serious?
is-
Okay, we'll talk about that after.
Okay, so alongside this news, Darren,
Okay.
and Destiny, but you can't look at the computer.
Okay.
You can't look at the computer. I was worried you saw something now. That's why.
I didn't see anything.
So Nintendo also gave us an official chart of the best-selling Switch games. Okay.
Okay.
We have on this list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 games, Darren.
Okay.
I want you to tell me which games are on this list.
Oh, I don't want to play this game. Go ahead.
That's why. That's why I was going to ask you to play this game.
Okay. For just Switch games,
Just Switch games.
10.
10.
Mario Kart 8.
Yes.
Breath of the Wild.
Yes.
Splatoon 2.
Yes. You're at 3.
Mario Odyssey.
Yep.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yep.
There's 5.
You're such a nerd.
He's got it. He's got it. Let's see if he's gonna bring home those last 5.
I got 5. Man, I'm drawing a blank. Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
Nobody's saying anything.
Don't you goddamn tell me.
Man, I love it when you get feisty.
What Switch games do I have? Luigi's Mansion 3?
No.
Ooh.
What's the just top 10 selling of all time?
Yes. All time.
Does he get like?
Well,
chances,
Animal
like-
Crossing.
Yep.
Okay.
That's 6.
I'll
I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
The last 4 are split only amongst 2 franchises.
Pokemon Sword. Pokemon Shield.
Yeah.
So those are 2.
No, that's 1.
That's 1.
I counted that as 1.
So how many is that? 8?
He's at 7. He's got 3 left.
Okay. Come on, dear.
then
You've only gotten 1 wrong so far, and Luigi's mentioned 3.
Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. Let's
Yep.
Go Pikachu.
Yep. The last 2. Damn, Darren, you're crushing this. I knew you were gonna do well, but like
My
you've
Nintendo
only one miss.
knowledge is it can't be beat.
Let's see if you can get it without fucking up these last 2.
I think I'm gonna need a hint for. I'm like.
Okay.
Duh.
You don't
Italian
you.
guy?
What?
It's about an Italian guy.
Is it Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe?
Yep.
Really?
At 6.6 mil.
More than Luigi's Mansion 3?
Yep.
That's
Keep in mind this is
insane.
Lifetime, right?
Yeah,
like
I guess.
you're missing 1.
It's probably a big one too.
It was a big one and disappointing as fuck.
Labo?
No. Lord no.
Mario Maker 2?
Nope. Mario Maker wasn't disappointing.
Now you're just punching in the dark.
I'm just like.
You're in
darts.
Mario
close, you're so close.
Mario is the right realm to be in.
Yeah.
Which Mario game are you forgetting? That
Is disappointing.
yep.
Mario Tennis.
Nope.
Yeah, that would be disappointing. Who would buy that?
A lot of people.
Yeah, it sold well. I bought it.
Sound
It was fun.
was it?
Huh?
You just played tennis
Yeah.
as Mario?
Yeah.
It's gone on for too long.
It's been around since N64. It's a long-running series.
You can have fun. You invite your friends.
Super Mario Party.
Yes.
Man,
Okay.
I forgot about Super. Because it was so disappointing, I forgot it existed.
Exactly. And the last thing, top 3. So you've got the 10. What are the top 3?
Top 3 are
1, 2, 3.
Number 1 is probably still Mario Kart,
Yes.
and then number 2 is Animal Crossing.
No.
Number 2 is Smash Ultimate.
Yes.
And number 3 is Animal Crossing.
No.
Number 3 is
Animal Crossing is 7th on this list for top selling of all time.
so
Kart's right.
Kart, and then
Ultimate's right.
Pokemon,
No.
Hey.
Zelda.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't actually sure if Zelda sold that well.
Breath of the Wild, 17.41 million
It
units.
came out at launch, so it had the longest
Yeah.
time to.
My hints were
Yeah.
amazing.
Yes, they were.
No,
Listen. Darren, good job, man.
Good job, Darren. Yeah,
Woo!
I definitely.
That's
You
what-
would have asked me, I would have been like, I don't know.
Mario.
Some Pikachu.
I'll take an order of Pikachu legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
good job,
Nintendo
Darren.
games, which is really funny. Not a single third-party game on that list.
I was gonna be like, no shit, they're Nintendo games, Darren.
I mean, like,
Yeah,
You
no,
think
first
third-party
party.
game.
Yeah, they're all
Yeah.
first party. Yeah.
was it a first-party list?
This just has top swelling Switch titles.
Yeah. So man, those third
I'm
parties
proud
gotta
of
sell
you.
better.
Well, I mean,
You need to meet a gamer girl. She would be like, oh my god, that's so hot.
she'd be like, Darren, let's go into this Mario themed closet. All right, the last two pieces of news. One that's just gonna quickly touch on this: Marvel's Iron Man VR has a new release date set for July 3rd, 2020.
Fun. Matt,
Cool.
what do you feel about that?
I'm excited. I just wanted to bring this up again because we talked about it on the show before that it was delayed indefinitely.
The two that were delayed were
Last of Us 2.
and Iron Man.
Yep,
And
and-
both got dates.
Both got dates. So Iron Man VR is coming back July 3rd. Super amped, super stoked. And the last thing that I want to talk about for news, something that makes me hella fucking hyped, and something that I talked about on one of the first few episodes. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake announced for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. This is again coming from IGN, by the way of Jonathan Dornbush. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater is back, as Activision has announced Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, a compilation remake of the first two Pro Skater games developed by Crash, Bandicoot, and Insane Trilogy, Vicarious Visions, which has a long history with the series.
Kind of like the first and only big announcement to come out of Summer Games Fest
So far, yeah. Essentially, they've gone on to say that, like, they actually got their hands on the original code for the game, and they've rebuilt the game around it, so it shouldn't feel too different. A lot of the original soundtrack's back. They weren't able to get everything, but they are getting a lot of it.
I'm surprised they didn't put 3 in that pack. Where's 3?
Me too. I guess they're starting with 1 and 2 to test the waters, because, like, I would really hope for Tony Hawk's Underground.
So is it like the same game with the same boards and you're
Yeah.
skating on the same thing?
You know how they remade Spyro and Crash?
Yeah.
It's the same as that. They just literally the same game, but it looks like
Yeah,
a game that
different-
came out yesterday.
Different locations, different boards, different people, like different things. I'm really curious as to how they're going to
How do
handle...
you feel about remakes of games like that?
I'm super fucking excited because we have not had a good skateboarding game in Lord knows how long, and I grew up on Pro Skater 1 and 2.
I like remakes like that better than just like resolution upscales,
Yeah.
to be honest, because at least then it looks like something new. Like it looks like, oh, remember this game back when you played it when it came on the PlayStation 1? Now it looks like how your nostalgia remembers.
Yeah. They've completely rebuilt it from the ground up, because, like, outside of using, like, the original code, right? So, like, they've redone everything.
And if it's good, it's like, because honestly, a totally random quick tangent, a lot of skateboarders actually say that the Tony Hawk games and a lot of skateboarding video games are the reason why skateboarding got so popular.
Yeah.
Like
it-
they're
really?
actually like really helped create skateboarder culture.
Pro Skater was one of the top-selling
'Cause I thought,
PlayStation
like-
games, period.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just feel like people were skateboarding before that.
There were, but
But
it
it-
seemed like it like helped it like explode to like be mainstream.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, like, for me, like, those games...
Did you skateboard actually?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got into skateboarding, I got into longboarding, like...
Why
Tony
don't
Hawk's...
you do it now?
I don't want to do it here in Korea with just how unsafe the roads can be here.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
I
you'd die.
don't want to... I don't want to do it.
Did you ever play any of the Tony Hawk games?
Yeah, but like,
Yeah. I never played them either.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do a let's play of it.
it's boring to me.
But we're gonna play co-op. We're gonna play against each other. That's not co-op. We're gonna
You're
compete.
play competitively.
Like, how do you like? You're just like
Tricks.
skating and tricks.
Yeah, points. But like for me, like these two games were some of the most like influential games that I've ever played for me. Like it helped me.
More than Persona.
Well, this was when I was a kid, right? Like Persona was adult me, or like like late teenage, whatever the fuck. But like college me. But like this was like when I was like 7, 8 years old. Like it helped shape like a bunch of my interests, my taste in music, the kind of like fashion I like and shit. Like it was like literally like this whole skater culture, and like especially
That's
because
really
like
interesting.
yeah, like
'Cause I've never had a game do that for me.
it was huge. It was absolutely huge. Like I'll never forget. I used to play all the time with a kid that lived down the street, and originally we were playing on N64. And I think Pro Skater 2 was one of the first games that you needed the like memory expansion that was slotted into the controller. So he got it, and we'd play it all the time, but he didn't have that memory expansion. So we replayed like the first 2 or 3 worlds like 50 times before his mom caved and bought the memory expansion, so we could actually start saving the game to progress further. So like, and we just keep playing it again and again and again, and like the music and the general vibe, and like it shaped my love for that entire culture, and like that still stays with me. Like my like pop punk and punk is still like my go-to music these days, right? Like, and like I got on it for a large part from there.
Yeah, unfortunately, Zelda really shaped my world, and I never ended up buying tunics.
Yeah.
Or dressing up like a fairy. Unfortunately, I really wish I did.
That we know.
I mean, like, you still have time.
I do. That's true. I should bring the tunic back.
I don't know. Like, sports games I find really repetitive.
Yeah.
And it's just you doing the same thing over. It's also why I don't like things like Smash Bros. Like, you're doing the same thing over and over.
There's like a bit of a story mode to Tony Hawk, though, isn't it?
Kind of. Like, the original, at least, was more like going to new locations and getting, like, scoring high. No, I completely agree. Like, I don't really play any other sports game, but skateboarding has just like a special place in my heart. And like those games specifically,
they're really influential to a lot of people.
I never got into skate and shit as much as other people did, but Pro Skater, I'm so fucking happy they're coming back. And like I'm so like I saw the collector's edition, and I was always like almost like fuck, I have to buy it because it actually comes with like a whole skate deck. Like,
oh my god, really?
Yeah, it actually comes with a skate deck. Like the actual board, like the actual skateboard. It actually comes with a full skateboard.
Why don't you just say skateboard?
Because that's what it's called. It's called a skate deck.
Because the board would be plus wheels.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird.
No, it's literally just like the like.
That is weird, right? Because
the deck is the board part.
Okay.
The board includes the
like
wheels.
Like this deck of a ship.
Yeah. That's where actually where the first skateboards came from. Pirates.
You're making jokes.
Facts. Look it up.
It might have, like surfing and then to skateboarding, because basically you're surfing.
You walk the plank.
On land.
Yeah. You walk the plank, and then the plank fell off, and they surfed on the plank. And then
that was way deeper than I thought you were gonna go.
Nicely done.
That was
And then they were like, we shouldn't call this a plank anymore. It's a deck.
And it was actually Peter Pan who said it.
It was. He was the OG Lost Boy.
And that's why Darren wants to dress up as a fairy.
There you go. Full circle.
How it's coming full circle.
We made it.
So I'm super amped at coming back. I was like really ready to be disappointed by this announcement that they were hyping up, and I'm amped. I'm very curious as to what's going to happen later tonight. There's another announcement apparently coming around like 12 p.m. Eastern, so that'll be like 1 a.m. us.
I'm not gonna be awake. I'll see you in the morning.
No, me either. But like Keely said, it's one of the most important announcements this summer. Period.
Was it? I thought
game for this game
for just something.
I know for an announcement he tweeted out like, "Don't get your hopes up." Maybe
that was according to the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater because he said like he was basically trying to just temper expectations that it's not like it's not like a new game.
This time he's like, it's big.
Yeah, he said this time it's big.
I think it's so interesting. You guys are so into games that like you wait for announcements and shit. I have never been that into anything in my life where I knew that they were going to announce something. Like never.
Yeah. I feel like it's the same kind of thing with like sports leagues and stuff. People like wait for draft announcements and things like that.
I've never been there.
It's interesting.
For me, it's just like the hype, man. Like
I'm like they're bringing the McRib back.
Yeah.
Shit.
Szechuan sauce.
You.
Yeah. No, I'm super excited. I mean, we'll talk about it on next week's podcast. So I guess we'll find out in a matter of hours.
Next week's podcast, we're not talking about it. We're talking about other things.
Yeah, but we're still going to touch on these a little bit.
Oh, okay.
That's what I mean. Yeah. It's not going to be the topic of the podcast.
Oh, okay.
We're just going to touch on it at the end. We're just going to do a little touchy. A little feely.
That sounds so dirty.
Let's do a little touchy.
No. End it.
Let's do a little fairy touchy.
So, good night, Matt.
I'm being benched. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. We really, really appreciate it. Again, please like, subscribe, and share. If you guys can leave some reviews and hit those stars, that actually helps us a lot. We would very much appreciate it. If you don't already, you fucking people from Czech Republic and Denmark, find us on Facebook and like it, because I want to see names I don't know pop up on that shit and be like, there's
That's
a Czech.
willing to talk to you on an online game.
You I'll talk to. Like, I'll hang with you, Czech people. Denmark, you can come to.
Stop calling them Czech people.
I'm going to call them Checkers.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
He's been drinking.
Destiny's face is equally impressed and not.
Don't.
And I love when I strike that balance.
Checkers is actually a great restaurant, so I think that's a compliment.
Is it run by people from the Czech Republic?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, that's awesome. Darren, this feeling.
Darren's face is red.
Darren, this feeling is what I felt for 40 minutes when we played with Tom, Darren, which you can check out on our YouTube.
I like the way you plug that.
Search for Burnout Brighter Games. You can catch us doing some silly Let's Plays. We're going to have a lot more coming. So please, again, like, subscribe, share. Please help us out.
Bitches on board.
Bitches on board. We love hearing from you guys. please continue to interact with us. We love doing this, and we hope you love it too. So that brings us to the end of the podcast. Darren, you got anything left to say?
No.
Good. Dustin, you got anything left to say?
I beat that grandma's ass.
Yeah.
Thanks for welcoming me back.
And I'm really impressed that you did this entire podcast in a bodysuit, like a body cast.
Yeah, it was really hard, but I mean, like, you've been holding up the cup so I could get sips of water when I was parched.
I have to admit, though, I did take your IV out a couple times to get some of that morphine.
Matt, that's so, like, unethical.
Destiny, when did I ever give you the impression I was ethical?
That's true.
Yeah.
Sharing is caring.
We haven't had that.
Sharing is caring.
We haven't had the ethics talk yet. It's okay.
It's true, we haven't.
Yeah, we haven't had that conversation yet. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. Darren, say bye. Bye. Destiny, say bye. Bye. Oh, yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. This is Matt signing out. We'll catch you next week. Peace out.
Don't you love when the sound of the clap hits just right?
I do love when the sound of the clap hits just right.
Don't you love a good clap back?
Only when it's, like, sexual. You know what I mean? Like, the clapping during this... Wait, do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You will know what I mean. Okay. Yes. I'm here. Yes. I'm a little drunk.